Pushing up. Whoa. There we go. All right. Oh. Okay. Whoa. Oh my gosh, it just launched itself back up. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in, and check it out, it's raining cats and dogs today, so I figured I'd go ahead and test the SPRY out. This new lens just came in. This is basically the updated lens cover for the camera. If you remember my test in the pool over there, it was a little blurry underwater, so I put this new lens on. It's glass. The other one was kind of a dome plastic, but this is like kind of a flat glass. So I've been waiting for this to come in, and then I was planning to go to the beach today and test it, but it's raining cats and dogs, so I figured why not put this thing up and fly this thing out FPV, see if it can handle some rain. It's really coming down. As you can see, it's just kind of blasting right now. So this will be a good test. Hang in there, and let's take this thing up in the air in the rain and see how the new SwellPro SPRY drone does. Okay guys, here we go. So it's really coming down. So all this stuff is waterproof, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. I have everything sealed up. So let's go turn this guy on. Controller, SPRY on. I'm just gonna set it there, and I'm gonna run back in the house and sit down with you and fly this with you FPV. Let's do it. SPRY out there on the trampoline in the rain. The rain's kind of subsided a little bit, but you can still see there's some raindrops. Maybe it'll kick up a little bit when we're going. So I'm gonna arm it here. Just both sticks are gonna go down and in. You can see we got some splashing there. We should be good. We got 15 satellites. It's been sitting there for a while while I've been finagling with the goggles. So here we go. Let's lift off. Okay, and this is purely FPV now. Again, guys, remember I'm flying. We are going to get out to the ocean and do a full-on flight test. So what I need to do here, I can move my camera up and down. So I'm pressing the two trigger buttons. I want to start recording on the SPRY so you guys can see what's up. So I'm going to press, there's a picture. If I press it once, that was just a picture. Now I'm going to press and hold the camera button. I'm hearing two beeps. So this is 1080. I didn't set it again to 4K because I upgraded the firmware in it. But this is the latest firmware I got from SwellPro, so we're going to see how this does. You can see that the camera isn't really stabilized yet. So I'll just kind of go up. We're in GPS mode right now, remember? And I'm just going to... It seems like it's locked in pretty good. Just scrolling around a bit. So we can just do normal GPS flying, remember, and I can tilt the camera down and look around my yard and some stuff. I'm gonna go up a ways so we can get kind of out of all these houses, so nobody complains about the sound and stuff. We can tilt the camera down. That's all the way down tilted. Just gonna keep going up. We can see we've got all of our telemetry on the screen. Pretty much everything you can think of. Height, speed, and all that stuff. So the screen's getting a little scratchy because I'm like directly overhead. So it is still raining outside, guys. So this is the kind of drone you might want to get if you're gonna be flying in some rain and stuff. You know what we do want to do? I think I enabled manual on this. So I'm gonna go over this kind of vacant lot here. I'm gonna come down. Now I'm gonna switch into acro and just try to do a couple of flips right here. See if something weird happens. A little bit of wobble from pulling all the way down in GPS mode. So I'm gonna go forward just so I'm kind of centered in this lot. And here we go. Let's do some manual acro mode. Okay, so there we go. I'm in manual. Flip. Oh yeah. Whoa. So yeah, not like a regular race drone, guys. I'm gonna switch back into GPS. That was scary. I almost like crashed into the neighbor's tree over there because it went back so far and lost so much. So I'll probably be doing that more in the ocean, but I just wanted to get kind of a feel, rotating the camera down again, of kind of how it was in manual mode there. I kind of want to do manual mode one more time. I'll go more over my yard here. Let's come down. Just in case we do like crash, we're not going crazy over other people's houses. I'm gonna come down right about here. I'm gonna pick the camera up to horizon level, which should be like just about there. Switching into manual, full manual mode. Yeah, okay. Able to definitely do it. Ooh, now the wind and rain's coming up. We're in manual mode, guys. This is full manual. Not a whole lot of... Oh. Okay, we crashed. Warning overload. Okay, so it just... I think it just shut off the motors because it just crashed. So, okay, guys, I went over and got it. It was upside down over there in the vacant lot over there. And I noticed that this new kind of glass cover did get a little scrape on the bottom, unfortunately. So what I want to do is I want to fly it up in FPV and land in the pool and record the video. And remember with the other cover, it was a little blurry. I just want to see how this one looks in the recorded video this time. See if it's totally took care of that blurriness underwater. Everything else is fine. The propellers weren't even dinged whatsoever. There's like no, maybe a little notch on this propeller on the very tip. Otherwise, everything is perfectly fine. The body didn't get scraped up at all, just the lens. So let's boot this thing up one more time and put the FPV back on. Let's go ahead and go dive in the pool again. See how the video is. Let's go ahead and launch. We're in GPS mode again, just for a nice, easy, safe launch. Both sticks in. And we got 15 satellites up there. I'm gonna push up. Nice and easy launch here. I'm gonna go up a bit. By the way, I have a new fully charged battery. The other battery was, I think it was like around under 11 volts. So I just went ahead and popped in a new charged battery. So yeah, the wind and the rain is still out there. And we are flying in it, as you can see. I'm gonna tilt this camera down and see if we can see that scratch. It looks like a droplet, but I think the scratch was right around here somewhere, so not really noticeable in my FPV. I don't know if that's the scratch or a water droplet right there, but anyway, I'm going to tilt the camera down, guys, and what we're going to do is we're going to fly forward here a bit, directly over the pool. This might be kind of cool. And I'm going to try to like descend right down into it without hitting my house and anything else. So let's give it a try. So strictly FPV, I'm inside the house, and we're gonna descend here. Just going slowly. Remember, we're in GPS mode. Don't want to hit any rooftops. Right around here. Oh. Oh. Okay. I hear it kind of scraping the side. I'm gonna go ahead and disarm it. I'm pulling the stick all the way down. Okay, so arming, and I'm gonna try to turn myself. Is it blurry or not? Definitely not out of the water. There it is. Okay, there's the filter. Let's focus in on that real quick, guys, and you'll be the judge if this lens cover is clearer than the other one. If you watched my first kind of waterproof test. Now keep in mind, I'm just kind of floating on the water, and I'm controlling it on the water, which is cool with this one. You can just be hovering with it, floating on the water, and the propellers are still turning. So you see how I'm turning left, and I'm pulling back, backing up. You know, it does look clearer, so it looks like that may have fixed our underwater blurriness a bit with this new lens cover. And I want to see if I can see any scratches on it. Maybe you guys will be able to see any scratches on the video because it's hard to see in the FPV. That's kind of good enough for me. I'm going to go over where I know I'm not going to run into a roof. And I'm gonna launch straight up. Ready? Pushing up. Whoa. There we go. All right. Oh. Okay. Whoa. Oh my gosh, it just launched itself back up. Did you see that? It was like nailing the house. I could hear it. And it's still flying. I was holding down on the throttle, but it for some reason was not disarming. Holy smoke. So definitely durable. Holy smokes. Okay. This is crazy. I was tumbling around on the concrete, hitting my window because I hit the roof. And I can still fly it. It punched itself back up. I don't know how scratched the lens is, but it still looks clear. There's just some water droplets. Oh my goodness. And it's raining a little bit harder now. I'd imagine the propeller's got to be sort of bent. Well, let me just fly around my yard a little bit. So this is full FPV, guys. Now I haven't had line of sight of this thing at all around my yard here. I'm just flying full FPV. Let's see, we can still rotate the camera down a bit. This is great. Holy smokes, it was tumbling around the concrete. So the only thing about that, I mean, that's awesome. But the only thing is it wasn't disarming when I was holding the throttle all the way down. So that's the only thing I can see, but here we go. I'm just letting off the sticks, hovering there. And the GPS is still working. FPV is still working after that crazy concrete tumble. Hopefully that GPS antenna isn't like just hanging off. I guess it wouldn't have GPS satellites if it was, but anyway, the rain's coming down again pretty hard. I can hear it on the roof outside. You can probably hear it in my microphone and see it in the video there. The wind's blasting on it. So this is slight, not really super storm. Wow, I can really hear that wind coming up. Look at the wind on the palm tree. I want to make sure I'm not going to hit my roof. Yeah, it's okay. We're high enough up. Wow, look at that water just shooting off of it in the camera. This is great. This is a great test. Glad I was able to do this with you guys. And the rain started. Look at that. Okay, there's a good picture of the rain. Look how hard it's raining on it. Holy smokes. Still doing fine. We'll just hover here for a while. See if the rain can mess it up. Look at that, man. So you could be doing FPV at a location with this thing. You know, it's smaller definitely than the Splash Drone 3. So it's a lot lighter weight. Still has about 15 minutes of runtime. Yeah, it's still going. Man, that rain's coming down. So 15 minutes of runtime. It's just if you're looking for, so far now, of course they're going to update this because this is still a prototype. If you're looking for like a race drone, this doesn't really fill those shoes. You can do acro, but as you can see, it was a little bit sketchy just because it's a heavier drone. It doesn't have like 3-bladed propellers for the punch. Of course, you could put some on. I'm just hovering here and seeing if the rain can eventually take it down, but it looks like it's not going to let it. It's great. So I want to hit that roof again. Hovering over the palm tree. So what I was saying was, so if you wanted something compact, and say you're on a field mission in a storm, or you needed to maybe drop something in the water for somebody, like a rescue, this so far would be a good candidate, at least in GPS mode, you know. It does have that circle around point feature, which it's like a follow mode, follow circle, which, because it has GPS in this controller I'm holding, So you definitely want to be outside and good GPS to do that. But so far, man, it's really coming down right now out there. I can hear it on the roof. See if we can see some raindrops in the camera. So it's definitely not going to be as stable. You know, there's some rain. You can see it there. If I turn my back to the rain, see those raindrops just going? Wow. So this is a pretty medium rain, not like super heavy, but a medium to heavy. And I'm just hovering here, just flying slowly, inspecting things from my house, inside my house and the safety of it. We're at 10.9 volts, so we're good. I think I have it set to auto land at like 10 volts, so man, so you can see the potential on this flight time. You know, it's not stabilized video yet. I think they're working on making it electronically stabilized. But as long as there's not too much wind, looks like the wind died down a little. Oh, it's still gusting out there. You see that palm tree. So this turned into a fantastic test, guys. I was a little bit worried. I was like, oh man, I can't get to the beach and do my ocean flight today just because look at the weather. It's just horrible everywhere on the island, I think. But this turned into a great test in the rain. Now it's really coming down. Look at those raindrops. I'm just hovering here. This looks like the best angle to be able to see the drops on that contrasting dark background there. And you can hear my roof. Holy smokes. It is coming down. And I did put some rain X, guys, inside and outside of this lens cover, because I was getting a little bit of fogging, and it looks like it kind of fixed it. It was fogging at the very top and at the very bottom, but now it looks like, you know, because it heats up inside of the drone, right? Because it's sealed, it's waterproof. Wow, this is great. It's really coming down now. The rain is just coming down like crazy. I'm able to stay up in the air, fly around, rotate the camera wherever I want. But this is kind of how this thing drifts. You see how it's quite locked in, but it's gonna move around. So let me just get the camera all the way down so you can see that. So that's drifting on its own due to the wind and stuff. I'm gonna go up a little higher. So I'm pushing up on the throttle. Full throttle up right now. Looks like it was 3 point something meters per second was its maximum ascent rate in GPS. So I'm directly overhead now, and we're getting a little bit of scratchy in the FPV. Let's go ahead and bring it back down. So I'm full throttle down, about 3.5 meters per second coming down. Fantastic. This is a great test on this. I'm glad you guys are able to join me on this. If you're looking at the SPRY, as far as a rain test goes, I don't know how much better you can get than this. And also that crash test. Guys, I haven't shut it off since I crashed right over there. Remember, I went in the pool and I tried to launch up. You see the little corner of my roof? I hit the roof coming up and it flipped over. I'll show you what I hit. Check this out. Let me come down here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We'll go and we'll fly the area I crashed. So I hit the roof coming up out of the pool, right? See the roof right there. And then it tumbled down over, get up over these trees. And then it tumbled in that cement it was like hitting my screen, my glass door, and tumbling, and then it punched itself up and out and went up kind of where I am now, and I was able to fly again. I couldn't believe it. That was the craziest thing I've ever done with a drone, I think, and able to still fly it. Okay, we're getting a low battery. Since I have the low battery set at 10.5, that's where the warning shows me. It shouldn't want to land yet. And we've been flying for quite some time, guys. 13 minutes on the flying. Just gonna keep it up for a little bit more at least. No, it's gonna land now. So this is, yeah, so 10, I have it set to land. So I'm gonna land right on this trampoline. As close as I can. Right, whoa. Okay, pulling down on the throttle, pulling the camera back up. There we go. The camera's back up to the horizon. There we go. And the controller is vibrating and beeping at me because I am in the low battery warning. 11 volts it warned you, and 10.5 volts it will land. I bring that down to 10.5 warning and 10 to land. Okay, so here we go, damage assessment. I did notice the voltage was almost going under 9 volts, so be careful of that. If you drop the voltage a little bit like I did, turn that thing off right away. Man, so a little bit of like scuffing on the edges of the propellers. Remember, this one's bent up just a little bit, but you could see how it was flying. Even though that tip is bent up, it was flying pretty okay. So I can tell that these all hit the concrete on the ends. This one too, it's like nicked and bent down a little bit on the edge. This one's actually just like grinded off on the end from hitting that concrete. GPS antenna is fine. No scuffing, gosh, anywhere on the body? Holy smokes. So the body's fine. And it was, I mean, it was literally like, it just was flipping, and then it just flipped itself back over and punched up underneath the house, the roof. And I just so happened to get it out from under that roof. Everything is fine. Even the feet aren't even scuffed. So the only damage is the tips of the propellers. And then when I crashed over there in the side yard, I still do have, you can see there's some fog up on the top of the lens, but I couldn't really see that in the video. And the only thing that happened over there was a little bit of a scuffed propeller, and I got a little scratch on this because this is optical glass. Keep in mind that first of all, flying in the rain was our main priority here. Secondly, testing out this new lens, seeing if it was blurry underwater. And while we were doing that, we also were able to crash over there and crash over by the house on the concrete, and we were able to see the durability of the whole thing. And it really, honestly, I thought when it was crashing at the house, I thought that was it. I thought this lens was going to be broken. I thought propellers were going to be bent and something was going to be damaged on the craft, because you could see for yourself in that video and in my mic on my hat cam that that was a gnarly twirling crash. So I can't believe it survived that, but it's still the same battery. It launched back up, it flew fine. Even though it had a little bit of propeller damage, I couldn't even tell when I was flying it. So race drone, manual mode, a little bit they could probably work on. And you might be able to, if you really want to use it as a race drone in manual mode, maybe put some large 3-bladed propellers on so you have a little bit more punch, because it seemed like when I started to do flips, you could see how fast, because it's kind of heavy, you can see how fast it dropped. So just be careful if you are going to change the parameters and use manual mode. But otherwise, GPS mode worked good enough. Again, there's no stabilization yet, but they're working on electronic stabilization. This camera can do it. And so the next review, guys, is going to be definitely in the ocean. Since we did the rain and crashing, we're going to get this thing out into the water, see what kind of sea life we can get underneath. And if you notice my first water video in the pool, this thing can flip underwater and it flips itself back up, kind of like it did when it crashed over by the side of the house on the concrete. It flipped over and it just automatically wanted to self-right itself and launch up, and that's what it does in the water. So really excited to do the next video on the ocean, and I will see you guys there. Don't forget, link for the SPRY in the description. So far so good. you know, a couple of cons, but the pros, I have never seen a drone be able to do this, be waterproof and take this much abuse and be this small in my life of all the stuff I've reviewed. So anyway, link in the description, and I will see you guys in the next review, flight, and crash test. Thanks for watching.